Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. I hope everybody can hear me. I had to do a little adjustment on this live feed due to, of course, this wild energy which is coming in, which gave me a little bit of technical difficulties. So if you guys can hear me or can't hear me, let me know in the chat box. But we've got a lot of things to cover. First, I want to really give a huge amount of adoration and respect to those who are in the Astralo Life community because we knew all about these events taking place. I'm about to go through a list of things that fired up within the past 24 hours. And those of you who take the time to be part of the Astralo class on Patreon every month, you knew that this was going to be going on. So these things, hi Anil, good morning, good morning. It's a wild morning. So these are not like isolated events. Like a lot of other channels out there are going to tell you that these events are things that are just occurring out of nowhere. This isn't the case. They're very predictable when you understand the intuitive aspects, the celestial aspects, and also what your energy and your body is capable of. So we're going to roll into this massive list of things that are happening. Many of you in our community have been feeling them. And then I'm going to give you a really solid technique on how to balance this and integrate it in. Again, those of you who are leaders and you're in that Astralo Life patron community, you were well aware of this and you have a lot of these tools to begin with. But I want to make sure everyone has this knowledge because that's the point, right? As we ignite each other, that means that everything functions the way that it's supposed to. So we woke up to a massive Schumann resonance blackout, which is huge, and a lot of us feel it emotionally. So blackouts either occur because there's something that's gone dramatically wrong with the system in which they're measured. Sometimes they are occurring because there's some unexplainable things taking place, so that information gets pulled from us. And sometimes they're occurring because there's a lot of activity going on and they completely warp and just go crazy. So we are currently experiencing a blackout, which means we're not really going to be aware of the data that's happening, but many of us are already feeling it. So those of you who have shortness of breath, heart palpitations, insomnia, this feeling of almost like what people would relate to as the word anxiety, which I do not use often. Those of you who are in my community are well aware you're going to feel that quickening when you are going through any kind of a shift within the energy of your body. Your entire body is electricity. So you're going to feel almost like this electricity heightening as it moves. So a lot of that is going on, as well as people feeling like they're out of body and they don't really, it's like everything is going in slow motion. That's definitely something that can happen with the Schumann and with the energy that's coming out from it right now. Considering it's a blackout, it's so high that we probably won't ever know. But that really doesn't matter. If we know exactly how high, we can feel how high. And that intuition is the one thing that I'm so proud of all of you for really honing and engaging. We also have a solar flare that popped up out of nowhere. There is a lot of wonder if this was even due to a CME, which would be a coronal mass ejection. There's really no reason why we're getting such an intense amount of flare on Earth, or I shall say, there is no scientific data out there to back up why we usually get flares and why we're experiencing currently an M1.6 flare right now, which also causes radio blackouts and issues with the waves of energy throughout the entire celestial or universal area, which in turn means it's also going to cause some bumpiness as far as our own energetic and our own way of honing in this energy. So a lot of shakiness again there as well. These events occur because we are bringing our energy to a new level. So those of you who were in the class this month, you were well aware. Good morning, JR. Good morning. Good morning. Those of you who are in the class this month were well aware that we were going to have that massive energy coming in the heart center in this area of our electrical field. And we were also going to be dealing with the Draconids peak meteor shower, which alone is going to cause a huge amount of amplified energy. So intertwine all those things, and what do you get? These types of earth reactions. Now, one thing I always tell all of you is this channel is not for followers, it's for leaders. So these are not reasons to make excuses for the way you feel. They're reasons for you to understand where it's coming from so that you can harness it and become more empowered. Good morning, Maggie. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Massive is definitely right. You're absolutely, absolutely right on par with that. It's intense right now. So, what is our job in all this? Anchoring this energy in. Come on, guys, we're leaders. This is what we're here to do. We are a frequency. And I'm not just speaking from a spiritual standpoint, that people think is a little bit all over the place now. This is scientific. Our bodies are energy, they are a frequency. So, our job when the frequencies around us go into motion like this is to listen to what they're saying, not pretend or act or feel like victims as a result. So, how do you harness this energy? I was up at 4 a.m. and I was asking, okay, we've seen all these things peak at once. What do we do? And by all means, I'm not the only one who was up at 4 a.m. My phone was off the hook. I had so many messages coming in from people in our Astralo Life patron community that I was like, oh my goodness. So we were many of us were up between that 3 and 5 a.m. period and really honing in this energy. And collectively, what is working really well is doing a 6-6-6 breathing. So, what I mean by that is taking a moment to close your eyes and breathe into the count of six. And while you're visualizing, while you're breathing, to really visualize that area in your chest, because this is where this is all going wonky right now, guys. Exactly. Yeah. From your daughter was up from 2 to 5, totally, totally normal. I think my entire house was up between that time period. And it's like we just we've learned to just become okay with it and to just really start to tap in. You're being woken at that time period. And not to go off on a little bit of a tangent here, but you're being woken at that time period because you are chosen for this anchoring in, not because the universe wants to torture you and make you exhausted and feel awful the next day. No, it knows that it can get in touch with you when your world is quiet. Any of you out there who have spouses or teenagers or children or even, family members, you don't try to have a conversation with them when they're on their phone texting. They're not going to pay attention to you. So the universal energy is not going to choose a time to really anchor in during your waking hours. If it's something major, hit when you're removed from those distractions. So you are chosen to do this. This is really cool. We're all chosen. So it's not like you're special and this person's not. We all are. It's just a matter of, are we going to be leaders and listen? And those of you in this community, you absolutely are. So don't forget to subscribe and hit the notifications button so that you never miss an opportunity to understand these celestial things, put these pieces together, and be part of this joining massive movement that's happening. So that being said, we're going to go back to the six breathing. I apologize. I get a little excited and I get a little crazy when that happens. So what you need to do, or what you can experiment with doing and see how it feels for honing in this energy, is placing your hands over that area right here in your chest, breathing into the count of six, holding to the count of six, and breathing out to the count of six. Now, what is happening for me, and you've got to get this feel for yourself. That's one thing that you guys really, really need to do. This is about you honing these skills. This isn't about you listening to someone telling you what to do. So I want you, if you do experiment with that breath, see where your intuition takes you. Does it take you up to that fourth energy center and then back down? Sometimes when I do the breathing in for six and then I hold it in that heart area, when I breathe out, intuitively my energy wants to flow down. The more I did this breathing, and I did it in about a 20-minute cycle this morning around 4:30 this morning. When I would breathe in after a while, I would breathe in to the count of six, hold to the count of six. And then all of a sudden, the energy wanted to orient upwards to the count of six. When that happened and it started really going up instead of redirecting back into the ground, I knew at that point that my energy was honed into the ground and that it was time to receive information coming through, which then prompted me to take a look at the Schumann, prompted me to take a look at, some of the different notifications I get about solar flares, and then really go into a meditation about what's happening. So take a peek. Play with that feeling, play with that breathing, see if that gets you to more of a balanced state. When you're waking again at those hours, utilize those hours. You're being tapped to gain knowledge. You're being tapped to lead others. You're not being tortured with insomnia. It's not the case. You can think it's the case, but it's not. So, okay, I don't want to keep you guys too long. Usually my max point is 10 minutes on these lives because I know that, there's so many things to do, especially on a lovely Saturday. So I want to thank Maggie and JR and Anil. Thank you guys so much for your comments. I so appreciate all of you who took the time out to really grow yourselves right now and be a part of this community. Hit the notes if you have any other questions for me, or the comments if you're watching this at any other time. I will be on all day trying to do the best that I can to show you guys what you're capable of, to ignite you guys, because that's what we do on this channel. We ignite. We don't, we, I'm not looking for people to try and follow what I'm saying. I'm looking for people to use their intuition and then apply it at will. Yes, so I was just about to wrap it up, but yes, the energies are incoming. We have a solar flare going on right now. It's not incoming, it's actually hitting. And I'm just answering one of the chats here. It's an M1.6, which is causing some blackouts, and also the Schumann itself is in a blackout period. So if you have any other questions about those things, yep, you're tossing and turning all night. Yes, I think it's Elias. Yes, exactly. There's so much in this about in the rest of this, if you go back to the beginning where we're talking about those waking hours. So I don't want to keep you guys. I love you guys to pieces. We're doing awesome. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel and hit the notifications button so we can all grow together and we can really hit the ground running, because we're doing awesome. Breathe. We got this. All right. I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you so much for joining me, and have a wonderful weekend.